Hi guys, and welcome back, and today we get on with showing the final reveal of the 88mm gun. So from where we left off last time, there were just a few little bits and bobs that needed to be done. So have a look at that for a few minutes, maybe only 4 or 5 minutes. I'm a hopeless fiddler, so my fiddling actually correlated to about 3 days of extra naffing around that possibly I didn't need to do, but I got it to the point where I was happy enough to say it was done, and then we'll have a traditional spin around on the magic wheel, and I'll just pop in from here to there with a bit of explanation along the way. I used the ammo boxes from the Mini Art kit because I thought they looked a better scale than the bigger sort of wicker ones in the Tamiya gun kit itself. Okay, not great fit, a little bit of warpage, but nothing you can't overcome with some brute strength and glue. Then I had to do the weapons and the equipment, so it was sort of a random selection of stuff. I had no real clear idea what I wanted to do with them. I knew the figures needed some equipment and I wanted some weapons lying around, so by just dumb luck it seemed to work out at the right amount when it came to put it all together. You'll notice on some of the smaller parts that I didn't cut them directly off the sprue. I cut a chunk of the sprue off with the part, and that's so I can drill into that larger piece of plastic and put the toothpick in, and then just take them off right at the end once it's all painted and just touch up the little spot. And that worked really well. It's the first time I've really done that, and I was pretty happy with that. I also chose to use the Mini Art shells over the Tamiya shells, and that had a unexpected consequence later on when I was doing the final assembly. Everything goes on a toothpick to make it easier to handle, and then undercoated, and then just slapping the paint on. Now, at this point, I sort of lost my mind a little bit and decided I was going to do slings for the weapons, which is not unusual, that's fine. But I decided I want to have buckles and hooks and rings and the like, similar to what I did with the Beersheba diorama or vignette. And one thing led to another, and experimenting and mucking around. Anyway, that probably cost me 2 days in getting it finished. I'm glad I did it. I learned some stuff. I've got some good ideas for making it easier in the future, and I think they look alright. But again, they're really tiny, so if you're with the unaided eye, they're very hard to see. So in the home straight now, and it was just a matter of starting to get things ready to do the final assembly. And I really didn't like the plastic handles that were provided in the kit for the ammo boxes, and then the more I thought about it, the less I liked them, because it wasn't going to let me have the guy pulling the box out of the back of the Kuba wagon. I've seen photos of ammo boxes with the rope handles, and I thought that gave me the flexibility then in positioning the boxes where I wanted them, which gave a little bit of movement then when I was doing the final placement. So that worked out all right. Some of them are a bit longer than they need to be, but the physical constraints of the plastic figure and the immovable opening of the back door of the Kuba wagon meant that was a fairly long handle. Now, what I thought would be really tricky was, well, not removing the plastic handles from the hands. That's just a bit of a sprue cutter and a sharp knife. But I was worried about drilling the hole, and especially the guy who's pulling it out of the back where it needs to go through both hands. But I have to say, it all worked really well, and I had no great disasters in the process. A little bit of painting touch-up and onto the decals for the weapons boxes, and just use the generic eagle, and it gives a good overall impression of what they're supposed to be, I think. And as I'm just about to start doing the assembly, I realise I haven't flattened the tyres. So quickly in with the little sanding thing on the Dremel, just to take a little bit off, not a huge amount off, and you don't see much of it anyway because of the length of the grass. But you know what it's like, if you know you haven't done it and you know you should do it, then you just got to do it. So I'll just do a few laps from a few different angles and look really happy with the kit. It's an old kit. I think I built this back in 1978 or 1979, so that's a long time ago, but it stands up well and I think it's come up pretty good as well. The inclusion of the mini art figures I think helped freshen it up a little bit from perhaps what you normally see with the stock standard Tamiya crew. So have a squiz. There'll be a few still pictures at the end of this and then I'll come back and say goodbye. And just a couple of things I have to confess to. The guy hiding behind the potato sack having a sly drink is supposed to fit in on the near side of the gun, between the gun shield and the gun carriage, and there was just no way I could get him to fit in there. I don't know how people do without resorting to major surgery, and I just couldn't be bothered doing that, so I thought he could have a sly drink and have a hide while his mates were doing all the work. The other thing is I use the mini art shells for the ammo boxes, but when it came to put those shells in the Tamiya figures' hands, they were significantly too small, so the real scale disparity there. So I had to go with a couple of the Tamiya shells. So if you're wondering, geez, they look really big compared to the ones in the boxes, you're spot on. And more a concern than anything, I'm just a little bit worried about Horse, because that's a very stupendous stream that Horse is issuing, and I think he needs to perhaps go and see his urologist, because that he's very dehydrated, and that's a lot for a man who's dehydrated. So I think there's some underlying health issues there for Horse, and I'm concerned. So that's it. The dio's finished up on the shelf next to the companion piece for the Castle Itter diorama. Very happy with it. Really enjoyed the whole process. So, but also really glad that it's finished, because I'm keen to get on to other things. And in fact, speaking about other things, the final package for the beginner build-along has arrived, and we're doing the Spitfire, and I hope to make a start on that tomorrow. So I've done and filmed the unboxing for that. I love the kit 1/72 scale. It's so small, but the detail is really, really good, so I am excited to be getting stuck into that. Anyway, as always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch. Hope it filled in, I'm not sure how long this goes for, maybe 20 minutes of your time. Like if you liked, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, so you can keep current with the new releases, and click on that bell thing so you'll get reminded, and apparently it turns itself off randomly, so just check that you are set up for reminders. And share if you can. Comment as always, guys, because I love the comments and will respond. And beyond that, I will catch you in the next one, which is probably not too far from coming out. Cheers and take care, everyone. Bye.